So it's Saturday morning, and you and your family decide to go for brunch because you need to treat yourself. It's been a long week, and you want to go for brunch because you want some quality time with one another. You decide to go to the Cracked Egg. It's my favorite place to go. And on your way there, you notice that there are signs for a farmer's market. I love a farmer's market. Farmer's market, of course, are local vendors, small businesses, and what better way to invest your money than to support your local vendors? They are truly the foundation, the heart of your community. They not only employ locally, but they also support the community through fundraising, through charity. It's just, there's so many different reasons for you to go out and support these small vendors. Anyway, you finish your brunch and you go back and you, trust me, this is the best way to approach a farmer's market. Do a lap around, go and take a look at each of the vendors, what they all have to offer, because there are so many beautiful things that you are likely going to overspend, and you're not going to spend your money as wisely as you could had you taken a look and assessed what everybody has to offer. So you go out and you notice that there is a tea shop, and you think that's great because my mom's birthday is coming up. She loves teas, and she would love nothing better than an herbal tea from a local store. And then you notice that there is a jewelry owner. You love jewelry. You have a wedding coming up, and what better excuse to add to your jewelry collection than going to a wedding? So you have those two vendors in mind. So you go over to the jewelry, no, not to the jewelry store. You go over to the tea store first because your mom comes first. So you go and you take a look around, and unfortunately, the vendor only offers caffeinated tea, and your mom only drinks herbal tea. What to do? Should we ask? Absolutely. Let's ask. So that is our scenario. Let's start off with there. This is where you might think, I probably need a custom order. Or do you? You don't even know. Let's ask. Hi, everyone. I am Jessica Gibson, the leading lady of Kaleidoscopes and Polka Dots, where I sell handmade, vintage-inspired jewelry that honors Hispanic American heritage. Today, I'm here to talk about custom orders and the different scenarios that small business owners tend to go through in their head and with customers when approached by an enthusiastic customer, and what they are likely to say, what they may be thinking, and what they might be able to provide. So if you are here for that, I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please leave me a big thumbs up. And also, please, I would highly encourage you to go and sign up for my newsletter, because that is the best way to stay on top of it whenever new content is scheduled, when new pieces go live. Basically, it's the best way to stay in touch with all things Kaleidoscopes and Polka Dots. So, okay, let's go back to our scenario. We're at the farmer's market, and we're at the tea shop, and we approach the vendor, and the vendor says, actually, I just ran out of time, and I have quite the selection. It's right here. So I ran out of time to put it out because, most of the time it's just that one vendor, that one person putting it all together. So that's very, very likely. I have certainly been in those shoes. Where, well, actually, it was only once. And that one experience was quite the learning experience, where I didn't put everything out exactly as I wanted. I just got so caught up with everything. There was too much to think about, too many people to greet and to talk to. So I just got distracted. So that's the first scenario. Here it is. Actually, yes, I just ran out of time. Or actually, yes, but I didn't bring it because this specific market doesn't really care for herbal teas, and therefore I didn't bother to bring any with me in my cart. So I highly encourage you to go over to my website. Everything that I offer is listed on my website. That's likely what you're going to hear from them. And let me know which one you're interested in, and I'll bring it to you next time, because I'm here every Saturday. That could be the second scenario. Or I could also be working on a product that fits this, but I haven't really finessed it enough to have it listed or to bring it. But I highly encourage you to follow me on my most active social platform, or sign up for my newsletter, because that is really the best way to stay in touch with me. So that could be the third scenario. And the final scenario could just be no. I'm sorry, I just don't work with herbal teas. They don't sell. It's not worth the investment. It's not worth the raw material. I just don't do it. Not that they would ever really say all of that, but they'll just say, I can't. I'm sorry. I don't have that as an option. But because small business owners stick to one another, we support each other like no other. We know what everybody else seems to be doing, at least in the spaces where we turn to for support. And as a farmer's market goes, they're a community and they are likely to understand what everybody else has as options as well. So they could say, hey, but I know who does. There's a vendor 2 stalls down that sells herbal teas. They are a farmer and they have such a beautiful selection of herbs that I often turn to whenever I'm sourcing new herbs for my teas. So you might want to check them out. So that is a possibility. So I think that regardless of the answer, this is a great starting point for building relationships with this vendor because they're local. And it's also a great way to get to know local businesses. All right, let's move on to shopping for our favorite person, for ourselves, for our jewelry, our accessories for that wedding. So we go over to the jewelry shop, which predominantly sells gemstones. Now, in this case, we're not talking kaleidoscopes and polka dots, okay? I do sell gemstone jewelry, but I do not specialize in gemstones. So we go over to that vendor and we're looking around, and they predominantly create turquoise jewelry. And it's beautiful and we love it and we're mesmerized by their design and their skill level. However, it's not exactly what we're looking for. What to do? Ask. It never hurts to ask. And when approaching them, be as gracious as possible and also be as specific as possible with regard to your question. Don't say, do you have anything else? Because that's a very broad question. And as makers go, we make a lot of which doesn't get listed because we're our worst critics and we think nobody's going to buy this. Come to find out, somebody loves this design and the universe had us make it for some reason. You might be that reason. Anyway, not to get too weird. So it just never hurts to ask and to be as specific as possible. So we are approaching the vendor and we're asking them a specific question. And in this case, it'd be, do you have anything with opals? I love this design specifically. Let's just use this as an example. I love this design specifically, but I would love it to feature an opal focal stone. Would that be a possibility? If all they carry is turquoise, chances are the answer is no, because they specialize in turquoise and that is their preferred medium. But maybe they, again, have a variety of different gemstones that they work with. And they just found it that turquoise sells great here. So they brought all of their turquoise to sell at this specific location. So asking specifically for opal, they might say, actually, yes, I have quite the selection. Go to my website. Let me know which of those designs you like. And I'll bring it next time. Because again, me too. I'm here every Saturday. So that is the best scenario. And the best scenario in that it'll save you money And it'll save you also time because custom orders take time. They're a little bit more expensive, a little. They can be quite expensive because they have to go, the vendor has to go out and source this material and see if they can actually create the thing that you're looking for. So, long story short, possibly they could have this as an option. And another scenario could again be I'm actually working on I'm working on an entire collection based around opals. And I would love for you to let me know what you think of them. Um, Sign up for my newsletter because I'm teasing them there, and I would love to hear your thoughts. This is my approach. I have been so blessed with my newsletter subscribers. They are always there for me when I'm asking for their feedback. And I just can't, I say it often in my newsletters. Thank you so much for being here because of them, I make a lot of the decisions that I do because they're my sounding board and they help me ultimately fine tune my collections. So, another reason why I have been so heavily focused on emeralds and Frida, because they respond well to Frida and to emeralds. And oh, I'm so happy because so do I. Frida is my muse. That is why I have a second YouTube channel dedicated to honoring Hispanic American heritage. And lately, I have been creating content around Frida. My next video will likely be about the new documentary that just came out on Amazon Prime. I don't know if any of you guys have watched it, but it is so lovely. I started it this morning. It is so beautiful. It is basically an amalgamation of real-time footage of Frida in her house painting. I just started it and I'm already gushing about it. Oh, what is that video going to look like? Anyway, I don't think that video is going to go live this Saturday, which is most of the time when I go live on that channel. But let's get back to the topic at hand, custom orders. So that was the end of that scenario, that farmers market scenario. Now let's talk specifically kaleidoscopes and polka dots. So for kaleidoscopes and polka dots, most of the time, I want to say yes, but my answers are generally yes. I can't because I don't have the resources. It's just me. And I try to keep my prices down as much as possible. And doing so means buying in bulk, batching up my process of creating jewelry and listing them and creating content and posting it and scheduling it and showing up. So most of the time I'm in the middle of a batching season, you know. So that helps me keep my costs down, keep the labor, which is time consuming. I mean, these earrings take quite a long time. And let me tell you, I went from almost taking a whole day to create just one set of earrings to creating like 6 pair in one day. Was it 6 pair or am I being overly ambitious? I feel like I'm being overly ambitious in saying that. I don't know. I can't think of my outline for how much time I spent on each of them, but labor is the thing that really brings my prices up, and I try to keep it as low as possible. Yes, my own labor. Yes, me putting it together one piece at a time. So most of the time it's no. But if you were to come to me and say, hey, I've noticed that you have this other stone, this other focal stone, oh, like this stone, would you be able to switch the focal stone of those teardrop earrings with this focal stone? And in that scenario, I would say absolutely, I would. I can because the I have the material in hand. It will just take me a bit longer, and it wouldn't be at any extra cost in that scenario. Also, it wouldn't hurt if you also told me a little bit about what scenario we're talking about. Like, I need them for a wedding in 2 months. That would be so helpful because then I could actually say, okay, so for the next 2 months, I pretty much have nothing going on. So, absolutely. Or for the next 2 months, I have way too much going on and I cannot possibly fit that in. So, um, just giving a little bit more of a background would be really, really helpful. So, long story short, again, maybe, maybe, but it has to be something very specific and something that I have on hand already. Um, Otherwise, I highly recommend that you give me a suggestion, give me an idea, give me what you have in mind, because a lot of the time, as I am creating new pieces, I'm bringing all of this feedback into play, into future designs, so that, um, so that we can all be happy. All right, guys, that is it for my video today. I hope you find it entertaining or helpful or both. If you did, please subscribe to my newsletter. That is the best way to support me. Um, like this video so that it goes out into the world, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye.